hired. You like the rest of my neighbor?
do the wave and call the May 21st Keizer Multi-Modal Safety Committee to order. The first thing we'll do is approval of the minutes. I feel like I'm really loud, yeah.
Can we pause for a moment and fix his AV or his audio?
Testing. Yeah, there is.
A huge echo and feedback.
Maybe I'll move this, maybe that's the problem.
All the mics are live.
Can,
Here, I turned mine off.
Mine was turned on. All the mics were on.
Hirsch, can you talk? Is that everybody? Yeah.
Yeah. I guess,
Tim, is there anything that you can do back there?
Are your mics, my mic was on as well.
Mine's on.
Mine's on.
Always on.
Oh, I thought we only turned them on when we.
Now, it says up here, please leave on.
Yeah, mine's on.
are we off now?
It's still.
It's still echoey.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
It's-
fixed.
We're like we're in the rotunda.
Careful. Room got bigger.
Yes, I've had legislative meetings in the rotunda one time. And
There you go. Well, it's not my phone, so I can bring that back now. Someone just didn't want us to start on time, I guess.
There isn't much we can do with this.
Yeah,
I can turn the mic down just so another smidgen to see if that helps with the back. He said he could hear us just fine, so that's good.
So weird how it works one night and not the next.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll try
Okay,
again.
well, we will
They, sure.
just deal with it.
Actually got a little bit burnt.
Yeah, it's all right. I was just surprised when I could hear myself so well. Okay, well, anyway, getting back to the agenda. So it was the approval of the April minutes. Do we have any motion to approve as written, or?
I move that the minutes of the Keizer Multimodal Safety Committee of April 2026 be affirmed.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I would second it.
Here we have a motion.
I have an idea, maybe if everyone turns their mics off and only the people who are speaking. we can
We'll try it.
turn the mics.
Yeah. Is everyone off now?
Yeah.
Still echoing?
Mine's off.
Yeah, well,
We're off.
It's, volume is too much.
maybe if I stand away a little bit. All right, so we have a motion and a second for the approval of the April 2026 minutes. Any discussion? Okay, so all in favor of approving? Oh, is that a discussion or?
No.
Oh, okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? All right, seeing none, that passes. Okay, next, excuse me, is the appearance of interested persons, which is the time for someone to come and talk about a topic that is not on the agenda. And seeing no one in the audience, and
Can we turn it off, maybe, and then just speak?
We
Trying to
need
talk really
someone
loud.
to pick up the recording, let me
Oh.
go back and get the recorder, and then I'll call.
I think it's the speakers.
I'll call them and talk to someone else.
Like the sensitivity or volumes.
I think it's the speakers, not the mics.
Tell those designs that you don't sell bags.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to order those. That's my reminder.
Michael, you might want to put us in recess, so if, in case it's still broadcasting, people can hear what's going on. Put it in recess. Just gavel down and say we're going into recess.
So for the time being, we are going into recess.
And then because that was the curb.
Yeah.
Well, I was driving my motorcycle kind of blindly just down the road. And all of a sudden this.
Hi,
Matt Myers,
I'm Matt.
did you get my email?
I did, thank you very much.
That was not my intent Monday to
I
turn
know
it into
that.
a
I know,
complaint.
I appreciate it, and
Yeah.
I didn't.
And then I look up here and everybody's trying to laugh.
Minutes.
Let's just keep going.
Should we keep going or we wait?
It's up to you, if you can handle the annoyance.
Hands up, we're not getting feedback.
I would just, he's how many minutes
So
out?
go to 15.
10 minutes out?
A good 10 minutes.
I can hear it. It's
Without the microphone?
We should have the microphones because it's live streaming.
in the back and see if
I caught them, thank
It's
you.
like the volume is up too high.
Yeah, I've been turning it down and I told him everything that I've done. And he said that turning it down isn't working and there's some other things that he's trying.
So weird it was working Monday.
Yeah. Oh, and I think I got it. I've been pushing it more and more. I think it sounds better. Is your
Well,
microphone?
you guys get it. Monday night, they screwed it.
Sorry.
So how does this still echo? Any feedback yet?
Yeah, it's starting. It sounds like my microphone.
Is it the speakers?
John, did he say how it was, the sound was coming in the house?
But it's
Because I
it's
worry
not-
about having the sound at the
Yeah, yours is
can you
He said
unplug
the
it?
back that it sounded just.
it's off.
giving it everybody.
It's still there.
It's like the speaker is,
Is there, Tim always messes with something over here.
Try it.
Hello?
That's better.
Better?
That's better, yeah.
It's like a half a second behind.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, yours is on.
No, I just turned it on.
That's right.
Hello? Yeah, it's still. I mean, I'm fine with this. It's, like I said, just if there's feedback, that's where think we'd have to stop.
How does that come across on the TV then?
Well, Don was saying he can hear it fine in the back, which means it would be fine on the television, right?
Not that, yeah,
Uh,
there's something going on out there.
Right. Are we all, is everyone else off but me?
I didn't even understand what you said.
Oh. Yeah,
Yeah, we shouldn't hear anybody except for you.
yeah.
you turn the speaker off in the room.
There's something.
Yeah, switch, yeah, on.
Testing, is it still echoing? It is. Testing. The other thing that was, the other thing that was suggested is not have cell phones on the device.
Hello?
What? using less power too. Especially on.
Hello? So,
It's because more construction.
No, we have to stay late.
A lot of it is the construction, and gravel trucks are coming out of, Willow Lake and then out, Windsor Island, and then coming through, a little bit here, a little bit there. Well, it's just something we can talk about. There's a schedule on.
Testing the echoing. That part gone in there. Intermission, I wonder if there's the halftime show. We're missing the halftime show. Yeah. Hopefully it's AC/DC, Highway to Hell. That would be appropriate for our movie, wouldn't it? Yeah. Well, it's coming from Mills there. I don't know, the car alarm started crackling, that's the speaker. And the speaker was, or I hadn't cleaned it enough and there was dust in there, and it was bouncing.
Oh, okay. All right, so we've done the appearance of interested persons, and so we will move on to the transportation system plan update by staff. I have my thing on, but.
And Northwest Keizer Neighborhood Association used the moon, but we didn't use the night. So they're flying.
Tim, please put the intermission on.
Schema for kids so we can, and I'm on the board up there, so couldn't get out of it. I get it, no, I get it.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. I can still hear it, still there, right?
Still pretty sensitive. Don't hear the cracklings, but yeah.
Well, it's still echoing. Testing, 1, 2, 3. You recognize something.
Plymouth trains all for 2 days. The wind picked up.
Testing, still there.
That's a positive step in the right direction. It is.
But I think, well, you know, they got their after meeting next week, so we're gonna talk about what we're gonna. I think it was, you know, but, see, I think it was based on the same market. And that was the best that you looked at.
what's the front, in front of Kennedy, is that Noran? Noran that runs right in front of Kennedy?
The crackling and stuff from the speaker at the ceiling is not.
Kennedy Elementary.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
North, south,
Yeah.
okay.
And now we're all trying to focus on high school. Maybe river rafting. That I don't know exactly. My sense was it was close, so I'm not sure.
I don't know what.
What you've already seen.
Right, right. And that's how it was for adults. So we had cases a lot. Oh, that there, yeah. And, but anyway, I think it was well received. It was just,
In August,
it was a lot of fun.
when
Should I get out of it?
You know, it's one thing to attend
Yeah, I think the boardwalk's all complete. I mean, I think they're still doing some of like the replacement of plants in the wetland area.
Hello? Hello? I don't hear you.
I'll share that with my wife. She'll appreciate it. You know, it's a third year.
Goes all the way down.
We don't have any big ones. Yeah. We keep wanting to go to the here.
Yeah.
It's just, I wish I could go.
I think my wife kind of has it.
We're going over to water. Because in Canada, you can't.
Before she thinks about it.
It's really bad. No, I know. It's there's one place you go.
You could, when we're getting a little more well known, it really drives you into just how much do they sell, you know, I mean,
I think we weren't really expecting. It was a dress-up thing, but that was me. I'm not really happy.
Why are they in a big party?
yeah. Well, and yeah, there was a couple moves like that that were very specific things. But, and we had demonstrations. We had a demonstration, a wood carving demonstration.
No, there's more people in this room than. Yeah. Graduated nice.
Aside from seeing
It's nice to have a
Used to be.
Is that out 20?
We'll be there in September.
16 years ago, John.
Other than
Yeah,
figuring out,
okay.
make the reservation through government.
Yeah. Yeah.
For this
there
year,
was
next year, they're gonna try
water
to do
too.
which makes total sense.
There was 100 students.
But we had the experience of.
Which school?
Monument?
Yep. I was for 7
Hello?
years taught in the school with
Hello?
8 kids on the coast.
I don't hear any.
No, but
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
the thing was, but all those small schools in Oregon.
Testing, 1, 2, 3,
Turn your
testing.
mics off.
The state,
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
Go
Testing,
Beavs.
how to, how do you work
Elvis has left the building.
small.
testing, 1, 2, 3.
Do you want it one more, Don?
We
Testing.
were, 8-man football.
Is the volume up?
Yes.
Oh, I think maybe he did it. Yay! Thank you.
Oh, they changed the number.
Okay.
Testing.
Yeah, we had.
Testing.
Yes.
Right?
I don't think we need to.
Unsung heroes, the behind the scenes.
That's right. When it comes back up, you'll be like, and we're done.
Okay, well, I kind of hear an echo again.
Yep.
Echo. Don't leave. Echo.
There's echo again.
It's gotta be a hot mic,
And it
somebody
came
else.
back.
Yeah.
Was that when we turned everything up, or when the screens came
When
on?
the screens came.
The screens came on.
Okay. I'm gonna have, are you guys good with the screens being off for this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't need to see myself.
Hello?
Testing. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah?
Tim and Sean, can you hear me? Can you hear us back there with this volume?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, thank you very much.
Here we go. Rock on.
And we're off. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to assume by saying we're back in session that we will be back in session. Okay, so back to number 4 on the agenda, the Transportation System Plan update by staff.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Carrie Blaylock, the Public Works Director. I'm going to be taking this. Oops. Hi. Okay, can you hear?
Yeah?
Okay. So Shane couldn't be here. He and I had a conversation. I know he had come in at some point, probably about a year ago, to provide an update. The update that I have is not much to update, although we did get a small bit of information yesterday afternoon, so very timely. All this time we thought that this would come through around the first of the year. That's kind of been the expectation. That did not happen. Apparently, the contract was held up at the DOJ, the Department of Justice. So they were reviewing the work order contract and it's the walk and the balk. I think it's the budget order. Oh, I can't remember the acronyms, but it was the budget piece and the scope of work, basically. So they were looking at that. We have been waiting on that. Yesterday, we did receive an agreement, so that has moved forward. We have an agreement that is going to be in legal review. And then once that goes forward, it will go through Salem. I believe Salem will also be reviewing that. And so tentatively, and because we thought it would come in January, this would, be the first of the year, I'm going to tentatively say we're now expecting within the next couple of months for things to start actually moving forward on this. So having received the agreement is good news, because that means that now that has been pushed forward and they can start, once we get all the reviews and we get everything signed for the agreements, then the work can start. So that's where we're at as far as the latest information that we have. I do want to share also that because of the climate rules, and it's another acronym that I'm, CFA, yes. Climate friendly. Equitable communities. Thank you. So that will actually drive a lot of the multimodal element in the new transportation system plan. So that will be a part of the thought process and the planning piece. With that being said, the next thing, once we get the agreements in place and things start moving, part of the scope of work is for them to outline a community outreach and engagement strategy. Multimodal committee has already been discussed in the scope of work as a opportunity to review. So I don't know at this point what that looks like, but I do know that this committee will have some opportunity for engagement. And so My plan will be to, once this gets rolling, is we will continue to make updates to this committee, and then if there is, I don't know if we will have an appointment, or if we will be bringing reviews to the committee, but one way or another, you will have an engagement, and perspective, your perspective will be brought into that. So I just wanted to make those things clear. That's about all I have as an update. Were there any specific questions?
Well, you mentioned there's the legal review and then Salem reviews. What exactly does that
Well,
mean?
You know, let me check my notes from Shane. I know that Salem does not, it's the state. So the state will review, Keizer will review, ODOT has to sign as well. So that is the piece. It's the state, DKS, and Keizer.
Okay.
So I apologize for that.
That's okay. And I guess this is really not a question, it's more of a request that we would have at least one of the members, not just having you bring stuff up to us where we can kind of quick look and review and comment, but where someone's actually in the room during the sausage making.
Heard. I hear that. So when they develop that strategy, I think at this point there's discussion, and again, I don't know what that looks like yet, but the discussion is whether there will be a technical committee and a citizen committee advisory piece, or if they are going to combine those two. That's why it's like, I really don't know what that picture looks like just yet. But again, this committee has already been like identified as someone who should be engaged with this process. So I will take that to the table when we get to that point.
Ms. Blaylock, who makes those decisions again on what that looks like? So to Chair Blasie's point, wanting somebody at the table during the process, who makes the decisions on whether that happens? Is that us as a city, or is that the consultants or somebody in a marble building far, far away?
Great question. My assumption would be that the consultant will make a proposal for how to get from A to B within the budget. And at that point, we will make recommendations for, okay, well, if this is how we have to get this done, then here's who we will put in. And again, I have not gone through this process before. It was.
And we as staff, when you say, and we will make.
Yeah, we, staff,
great,
yes.
Thank you.
So Shane and I basically will be.
Perfect, thank you.
Working directly with the contractor.
Great, thank you.
Any questions? Hirsch?
Just to help clarify, what was done in 2009, when the last one was done here, to follow up what it was, this committee was involved. One or two of us, I believe, were selected to be on an advisory committee as the work went on. And also there was feedback to the committee as well as the general community over a period of time. I've been on the Marion County one, and they've broken it up to a technical and then interest-based, two different groups that come together periodically. So there's several ways to do it, I guess.
Yeah, thank you. And that is, to that point is where we're at, is I don't know which way they're gonna go. So once that's apparent, then that's when we'll have that opportunity to make recommendations for.
I think the
Who's
most
that?
important thing is this committee, whether individual representative or the whole committee, has input.
Yeah.
And I believe, I just want to confirm that, yeah, that one way or another, you are on the list as the committee and you will have a voice in this. So I just want to make that clear. I don't know what that shape is, but you will be at the table.
Anything? Okay. Well, thank you for that update. I appreciate it. See if there's any more questions. David?
This is maybe a left turn, but I appreciate, Carrie, your being here, and wanted to just take advantage of that to ask a question that's been kind of troubling me. I really have appreciated Mike's involvement, Griffin, at these committee meetings and taking the time to meet with us and things. The question I have is multimodal, I think, covers the gamut of transportation modes. And our committee's charge is advisory to the city council and to the city manager, and not to Public Works. And it seems to me that we as a committee and the community would be much more effective if we worked more in partnership with Public Works and work together. So if there were important pedestrian issues or safety issues and different things, we weren't just providing an additional request to the budget committee, but it's something where we work together with Public Works and don't feel like, okay, we're having to fight priorities, but that we kind of go in more together. It's just something that has been very much troubling me, and I would appreciate your perspective.
Well, I couldn't agree more. I think that we should work as partners, and I'm new to this role and to the committee, but my understanding is that that would be our relationship, is that not only do you advise our council, but you work with us in a partnership. And in fact, I think that my vision for this committee would be just that. So we have on our plate a lot of important priorities that include the sidewalk program that the council has directed it. So I think that this committee could review that when we get that. So I'm working on that right now. I would love to have a review and feedback on that as a partner before that goes to the council. And I think there's opportunities moving forward where we can discuss things and look at the priorities. And in fact, I have a few ideas for future meetings, some presentations that I would like to share and get feedback on. So I do look forward to building a better relationship, having no bearing on what your relationship has been. That would be something that's important to me.
I don't know if Councilor Starr or if Dawn, you know if Public Works will be at that joint session we have? Do you know?
Yes, that is the intent in inviting, and actually requesting that Ms. Blaylock, participate in these meetings go forward, is she's the voice of, Public Works to include, streets and parks and all the things that are lumped under there to the ELT, right, to the executive leadership team, and then also is participating in our city council meetings. So by having Ms. Blaylock here to be that partner and have those conversations, in addition to Mr. Griffin and his expertise on streets, because that's a big part of this committee as well, right? So I think the two of them together, we are a very lucky committee in that we get both of them. And the intent specifically as well for that work session is that everyone that is here now will also be at the work session together. So it's about bringing more people to the table and making sure we've got kind of that specific expertise in terms of streets for Mr. Griffin, but then also the department director perspective as well, and how those priorities are falling in line, and maybe what we see with with Ms. Blaylock's dealing with on a day-to-day basis, and having her, 30,000-foot view as well, I think helps this committee make better, more informed decisions, and then helps our city staff make better informed decisions when we're not there, right? So I think that's our hope anyway, and having Ms. Blaylock participate from here forward.
Well, that sounds great. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, I don't know if you have anything else to say about the TSB. You were all done?
That's all I really have.
Okay, well, thank you. Just didn't want to cut you off. Okay, so next on the agenda is our project spreadsheet review. Let me move over to that page. Okay. And just, Director Blaylock, in case you were unfamiliar with this, we do have a spreadsheet where we have some active projects that we've been looking at, as well as some, we've talked about some longer term ideas too, but we've tried to pare it down just to active projects for expediency's sake for the meetings. Okay, so the bike lane painting, I had submitted that amended request to Tim. I don't know, that's a budget committee thing, so I don't know.
The budget committee met last Monday and Tuesday, and it did not get included in the budget.
Okay.
I wouldn't take it off.
Well, keep hammering away at it.
Just not this year.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing is that we've been monitoring speeding in residential areas. That's a citywide thing. It's not a focused thing, as Officer Powell can attest to. I do know, there's been, the reader boards out periodically. Any updates on where it's at right now, if it's out?
Well, since the CSOs took over on that part of it, away from, it's no longer on my plate, I kind of remember to give the assignments, but I don't know the exact location it's at right now. It might be up on O'Neill, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
I know we have a complaint up there. I couldn't answer that right now.
Okay. Mike?
Yeah, I was hoping the person who I heard the complaint from would have submitted it to Dawn, but there was a complaint on Facebook and I just happened to see it and responded. They have their doorbell camera catching speeders on Chemawa going towards Keizer Rapids, passing other vehicles, which there's only 2 lanes there, which makes it really dangerous and really, so I don't know if there needs to be focus with that section or?
Yeah, that was actually a call for service that came in a couple hours after the vehicle was captured on video.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it doesn't show a license plate, and due to the delay, if they were going to the dog park or down that area, if it would have been current, I actually have an email string with that lady.
Okay.
And if it would have been more current, we could have went down there and actually tracked the driver down. But right now, yeah, we went out, and that afternoon we had, which we've been there, it's just not always real active for speed. It's any street is gonna have speeding.
Yep.
It's not a concentrated every day, all day. It's sporadic, driver dependent. And we had, my motor partner was out there that afternoon. I don't think he stopped any for speed, but he stopped a couple others for violation, but he showed the presence.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
yeah.
It's not residential, but I'm reminded that there was an article in the Statesman Journal the other day about how much money they've made off their speed and red light cameras. I didn't see a breakdown of this was speeding. This was,
What they didn't include was how much it cost.
oh, well,
You
yeah.
say, look, we got all this profit, and I'm going, No. I
No.
mean, most of that stuff you were dumping back into the general fund went to pay for the,
To
pay
program.
for it, so
Yeah.
that wasn't a big money maker, I mean, that
Well,
was.
I was just shocked at how much, even if it isn't a
Well,
profitable
But if you
endeavor.
take 80% of that and dump it back into the cost of it, it's not a very good program.
Well, I guess my point is it shows that there's still plenty of speeding. I don't know what they charge per ticket, but
It's a.
It's in the
Yeah.
article.
yeah,
The red light running ticket and the, well, the
Yeah.
speeding's a bunch of
Um,
You do, I'm not sure everybody was here when we investigated having,
Red light.
speeding or red light cameras here in Keizer, and we had the organization that sells that stuff to you. And they said it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
It was hardly worth their time to come down and double check. So they looked at the speeds and how many people were actually running through red lights in Keizer, and it didn't warrant the cost of putting the cameras in. And then it's extra people, right?
Yeah,
A bunch of extra, a couple.
yeah, and it was, they did the study, it wasn't us.
I know.
right.
Because it's their equipment, most of the profit goes to them.
Yeah.
And then, yes, but we then have to take on the extra manpower and all the
Reviewing.
other technical stuff as an expense to the city. So
Yeah,
I've talked to the motor guys in Salem, and it's not necessarily that profitable for them.
Yeah, yeah.
So it sounds good in the paper, but
Well, like I said, it was just the dollar amount that's, whether or not you make a profit or not is not my point. It's just like, that's a lot of money.
the fact that they dumped it back into the general fund, which is where they paid for the program out of the general fund.
Right, right. Okay, well, and as part of this, we've talked in the past about lowering residential speed limits, and, I know David has talked about this before too, about when you set it at a certain speed and people feel comfortable, and it's harder for, KPD to pull someone over for a couple of miles to 5 miles over. So that was our intention about reducing the speed limits in general in residential areas, but, that's really just a history there, lesson for the director. Okay, so moving on, creating a list of streets to ask for funding resources. That was, Hirsch and Officer Powell's.
Well, we did
You
research.
get it.
There was no really great specific streets. Most of the injury accidents or, had driveways on River Road
Yeah, that-
with pedestrians,
That's the bulk of
bicycles.
everything, yeah.
And that's very difficult to get a handle on it.
About the only thing that came out of all that data we collected was, we don't need any more driveways on River Road
Yeah.
within the city limits.
Yeah.
And so when they developed those big sections like down by McNary Estates, those two big lots down there, dumping people onto River Road is an issue.
Yeah.
And so whenever that plan comes out, I think somebody's got something in the works
Yeah.
with the planning commission. I'm sure they're talking to them. I don't know if we have anything that says, we just can't afford another major driveway onto River Road.
Well, so it was my understanding it wasn't just accidents that the discussion was gonna be about, or the look at it. It was more of like, you knowing hot spots of speeding, et cetera, that might, or even unsafe, pedestrian crossings or the like, that could be on the list of funding.
And we talked about those, and some of the, in residential areas, that's a whole different story. But, one area that keeps coming up, especially in the neighborhood association, for a crossing and stop signs, is Windsor Island and Lock Haven. Can I talk a little bit about that one?
Yeah.
The neighborhood association brought it up last night, as well as the principal at Keizer Elementary. And one of the lead teachers saying, kids are no longer really using the Windsor Island crossing that's in front of, just almost by, Willow Lake. There's been a crossing there to go to Keizer Elementary for centuries. Kids are not using that because it takes them right into a residential area. And parents, especially since there's been improvement on the sidewalk there at Windsor Island in Lock Haven, there's the curb cuts. Kids are in with the new apartments that are being built, they're walking that way and down the street on Lock Haven, as it is perceived safer by both parents and the school. When the school says you're gonna walk, this is the way you walk. And, with that, the neighborhood association probably is going to work with the school district's risk management, and do a neighborhood transportation plan.
Education program.
No, we'll actually do the workup, and what's the?
Oh, the neighborhood traffic management plan.
We'll try to work on working with Public Works, and this time we have the principal of the school that was very adamant that, yes, that's where our kids are coming now. They're not going through the neighborhood and down Joan and out. They're straighter shot, and it is perceived as safer because it's more open and the walls are right there and the kids can be seen versus walking through the neighborhood. So, that's something we'll be working on probably through the summer and to come back to the committee on that.
Okay.
But that's one I think we should maybe not put on tonight, but that one is one. And I know, Counselor, Parsons was very adamant about that one.
Yeah, I do remember that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I'm thinking of is like what we were talking about during our intermission, the Whitaker walkway up to from 14th, I'm sorry, at the end of Mandarin, going up to the fields. That's a city-owned thing. So that's the kind of thing I'm thinking of. We have this list of things that the city has responsibility for that can be improved, that wouldn't need to come to us. But
Where did you say they were walking through?
they're going to Whitaker. There's a pathway that goes between two homes at the, where Mandarin stubs into 14th. And it's a very well-used pathway by the students, but it's muddy and actually slippery in the winter months, and there's some steps. Well, it's city-owned, so.
I bet we'd give them permission to fix it.
Well, they're $25 million in the hole too, so. So. But anyway, so those are the kinds of things like, we create that list of things that could be brought to, Public Works.
I was there twice this week, right as the school let out. I was amazed at the lack of kids that walk up and down Lock Haven. I mean, there's a little group, maybe, probably under 20 kids I saw on Lock Haven out of over 100 kids are in Whitaker. And so, for whatever reason, they're going, I don't know, going that way, north. Or they're getting picked up, or they're all, I just said, there wasn't very many kids, I was kind of surprised. I thought, it'd be like, when I was in school, there was 400 kids on the sidewalk right out.
Well, there is the crossing, the lighted crossing at Lock Haven and 14th, and there's a guard there.
A lot of parents pick up their kids in that church parking lot.
Yeah.
I pick up at 14th and Mandarin. My kids have used that little alleyway you're talking about for the last few years.
Yeah.
Chair DeBlas, before we move on, Hirsch,
Yes.
does Keizer have a school crossing guard that comes out to that corner, to that intersection?
No,
No.
no.
Do they have any?
They have, the crossing guard is at Lock Haven and McClure.
Okay.
And in the distant past, they had a crossing guard at Windsor Island and
It's either Orchard or Koala.
Koala. They had one there, but they don't anymore, staffing, of course. And the kids aren't walking down that way. That was put in when Keizer Elementary was built. That's been over 40 years ago. People just don't want to walk, kids walk down through the neighborhood. There's a lot of apartments, a lot of activity. So they're just walking down, and with the improvements on the curb cuts and everything on Windsor Island and Lock Haven, kids are using that, and parents are recommending that. And our big issue there is not so much speeding, but we have a lot of big trucks coming from both gravel pits, turning there as such. And we want kids to walk. And we have a principal that's emphasizing kids walking. And one of the teachers, in fact, is the teacher that won Teacher of the Year for Keizer Rotary was at our meeting. And she said, I want the kids to walk. And they perceive, so as we work on it, they will be partners to help do that. And it may just come down to how we get the money, whether it's a Safe Routes to School grant or, you know. But first we do all the necessary nuts and bolts. But I was excited when you get the school district on your side on something.
David?
Yeah, does the, I don't know how to phrase it, is it the city's new sidewalk program?
Yeah,
Is that the way to describe it? It's in the budget, but is it written down somewhere how they're going to implement that program? Yes, oh, good.
Thank you. So I'm actually working on that. That was something that a couple of work sessions were done with the previous public works director, the city manager, and the council prior to me coming on. So I've gone back, caught myself up, and I've been working on that, outlining the program and what that looks like and the processes internally, and what that's going to look like for the community. Based on what I've taken from all that information, there'll be it's sort of a two-pronged approach to sidewalks and pedestrian safety. So the first arm of that would be an infill program, and that would address a lot of the major gaps across the city where we have small pieces where we have missing sidewalks and or opportunities for some sort of matching grant for folks to do, potentially a good portion of a gap. So I'm trying to pull that together now. I've got most of the nuts and bolts in place. The other arm of that would be the sidewalk repair. And that is my understanding is that is not a match grant, but a low interest loan that people can take out if, for instance, if your sidewalk is in poor shape and perhaps you have a code violation or you want to not get a code violation, you could apply for the program, get the loan, and have that fixed and repaired. And so that would improve accessibility. So we have two different arms that would improve what we have and then add to what we have to make a more accessible and connected community altogether. So that's the nuts and bolts of it, and I'm hoping to get that. Again, that was something that I picked up, and I'm looking to you guys if I can, when I get that pulled together, which, again, I'm about 75%, I just need to get our finance director to put the loan pieces in. And once that's done, I would like to bring that here for a review and feedback before we take that to the council.
The only comment I would have is that, is any consideration given to the fact that some streets are highly unpaved, unsidewalked streets around schools would seem, is there any way to give them a higher priority than somebody with a lot of money who lives over in the south part of town?
Absolutely, and the council did address that in the work session to make sure that there were weighted priorities for safe routes to schools, the connectivity, equitable so that it's low-income areas perhaps, and there was another one, connectivity. So there's going to be a ranking for that will help lift those up. And again, that might be a way to integrate this team in, is to do some of that lifting. I would like to get your feedback though when I get that, but I'm very excited about that. It's going to be a great program for the city and for the community. It's a win for this group as well. And when you speak of pedestrian safety.
If you don't know the answer now, this is fine, but I was wondering if in that revolving fund thing to improve what's already there, are we requiring the property owner do the full amount of sidewalk in front of their house, even if it's a portion of it's in bad shape, but a portion of it's in good shape? Do you know? To kind of try and keep things on the same life cycle?
So are you your question is about the repair side of things?
Yes.
So you can replace, panels. I think that the loan you would have to replace, I think up to 4, Mike, I think is what we were talking about. But I'll have to check. I'll have to check where that landed. But yes, there is you wouldn't have to do the whole thing. So if you have a tree that's causing a problem,
Right.
then you could just replace the couple of panels.
Okay.
It wouldn't be, you're required to do the whole frontage.
And so we're still working on that, and to generate a permit, it's 3 sidewalk panels. So 15 feet generates the permit. The permit is the trigger to go to step 1 and 2, whether the trees are causing the issue or go from there. So I'm going to say that marker would be 15
Okay.
15 feet.
Thank you.
That was it.
All right, well, that was a nice little tangent. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, moving on. We're done with the active list now. So the joint work session with City Council on June 8th and refining the list of topics that we will take to the council. Tonight, we were able to refine it a little bit by having Director Blaylock give us the update about the TSB. That was one of the things we were going to talk about. I'm assuming that what I see in the motion that council made is what we had talked about that night, a couple months ago. And this is part of the list that's in the packet?
What you have in the packet tonight is your list, and I'm not sure about the motion from the council. I'd have to go back and pull that. These were suggested motions for this committee.
Oh, this is suggested?
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay, thank you for clearing that one up. Okay, so, I guess I can first let it out to the committee. Do you have any comments about the items that we have talked about? And wanting to add to them, amend them, drop one?
What's currently on the list?
So, if you look to page 11.
I felt that the list on page 11 captured our input, and I also think my understanding for the length of the work session, we have more to talk about than we will get through.
Yes, I totally agree with you there. Do we want to then, assuming no one has any big beefs with it? Oh, Mike.
No. So the pedestrian and bicycle safety, the survey went out. Have we gotten any results back that give us any indication how people feel about safety, walking, biking?
Mr. Walsh, you're referring to the community survey, right?
Yes, I am.
I have not seen a draft report come back from the company that is tabulating everything and putting that together. So I don't know that we're going to have that
Okay.
in time, but yeah.
Okay.
Hearing that, I don't recall what the thrust of that topic was, other than just in general, pedestrian and bicycle safety. Should we push it down because we won't have the results of the survey, or do you think it's fine without the survey results?
I don't view the list here, I view the discussion really on safety and livability. I don't view going through each of the or expect to go each of the bullet points. It's more, that issue encompasses all of those things. If you look around town, I think there's roads are both mobility and they're barriers. And livability really, I think, addresses how much they are barriers to walking, biking, crossing the street, to visit neighbors on the other side. And if you look around town, Keizer has done very little. You know, there's absolutely no provision for safe pedestrians to cross between 14th and Windsor Island Road, and River Road on Lock Haven. You look at Chemawa between Verda and where it intersects Lock Haven. You look at River Road out where we have parks on the west side, and a lot of housing on the east side, and there's no provisions for pedestrians to safely get across the street. So anyway, there are, you know, you look at trail in terms of how to get across Lock Haven, and there's a lot of traffic flow from the businesses at River and Lock Haven, and pedestrians wanting to cross over, and then no provisions for pedestrians to safely cross Lock Haven there, and lack of infrastructure on trail for pedestrians, such that we had a fatality there that I know usually when you have those accidents, there's at least two things that contribute to it. And certainly the lack of any pedestrian infrastructure there was one of them, as was certainly an impaired driver. So, again, I view this general discussion as basically touching on all of those things as opposed to having to go through bullet by bullet kind of thing.
Okay. Then maybe we should
Chair de Blasi, I'm sorry. Can we have Officer Powell speak to that? I just want to make sure that we've got accurate information about that fatality. So, and the contributing factors, so.
The contributing factor is the driver completely failed to maintain her lane. That was completely unpredictable, not solvable by any means of the committee. It could have been a bicyclist, it could have been anybody, it hadn't have been the person, it would have been the parked car right there. So it was completely off the lane of travel.
So I think the thing that I want to make sure that's accurate is the statement about the impairment of the driver. That's what I want to make sure we correct.
I didn't hear him say their impairment, but yeah, there was.
I did, and that may have been false. I mean,
I want to make sure we're correct in our information.
My point was that
that case has been adjudicated, it's done, she pled guilty to it, but there was no impairment at the time.
Thank you.
my point is that it was an error on the part of the driver, but it, and you never know, had there been a curb, would that have caused a different behavior on the part of the driver? But there was not a curb. And I don't know whether the pedestrian was hit from behind or whether they were facing it, which again would be an error on the part of the pedestrian for not walking in a manner facing traffic. But my only point is that usually there are multiple contributors to accidents like that when they happen. It's multiple things that go wrong, but anyway.
So what I was gonna say was, these are examples of what we want to talk about in the general livability. Is there a way to present this in this document that shows them as examples rather than as talking topics?
Okay. Can you,
Rephrase.
yeah, thank
So
you.
I guess
I'm
what I'm
trying
trying-
to make sure I respond correctly.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is, just making it clear in this document that we're not saying, we're gonna be talking about pedestrian and bicycle safety, neighborhood impact, that the goal of the discussion is safety and livability as they're affected by these things. So I don't, maybe I'm the one that's confused or got confused by it, but, and it's all about nothing for me, but.
So I think we can just put a line in there that just says examples include. I think that should
That's what I was
clarify it.
thinking of,
And this, and whatever supplemental information that staff works to put together for the work session. I don't know if it'll be this exact, like, this is a typical staff report that we get in our council packet. I don't know that it will be the same report that goes in the work session packet.
Oh.
So, because this is the example, what they put together was for the motion from this committee to put forward for the agenda on the work session. So that's what this report is is laying out. But I think since we have Ms. Blaylock and Officer Powell and Mr. Griffin here, that they're hearing the conversation, and along with Ms. Wilson, they'll be able to craft an appropriate agenda and meeting packet that is clear about those being examples for number one.
Okay, that's fine then. I strike my request. All right, then we had the neighborhood traffic management program, and that's the one my thought of in the meeting was, in addition to getting any neighborhood association input, is also kind of teeing off this review and tweaking, which I don't anticipate any headway that night because it's really our job to do that. But it's more of the go-ahead by the council to do such a thing.
Yeah, and I think it's fair for this committee to bring your, your concerns or your suggestions and ideas for improving it. And then, because it's a work session, staff can get guidance from council on what to bring back to the committee or to bring back to council. But I would be prepared to have a pretty meaty discussion about it with suggested changes or updates. One of the things that I've always had, I know Mr. Myers came armed and ready with his packet. But one of the things that is always, I think for me as a counselor and as a resident of Keizer, is that 75% of the fronting people have to support the request. I think that's a huge burden on our neighborhood associations, right? To get that, it means knocking on doors, and that's not always comfortable for people. It's not always safe for people. So I think being prepared for discussions around items like that is going to be really helpful in the work session.
Okay. Yeah, and frankly, everyone seems to have no soliciting signs on their door, so you can't even go knock on the door anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's a fair percentage of that, and we want to honor that.
Matt will talk about it more, but a lot of the three that I went to, there was some frustration that it seemed like there was a lot of red tape for an address or an issue to be brought to either us or council before, anything gets resolved. And I think they want to cut down on that process.
Agreed. Yeah. I did.
Yeah, well, thank you, Michael, for your help. So we did go to all the neighborhood committee meetings and got feedback from them. I put together, an extensive report. I got a little carried away. Remember, I'm going to Oregon State, so,
Go Bees.
yeah. I provided a reference page too and a title page. Anyway, I guess in our findings, Michael and I, in listening to the neighborhoods, we have recommendations, Mr. Chairman, that we can make at this meeting. I'm happy to share this with all of you. I made reports. I apologize to Dawn and the committee that I didn't get it done in time. Fortunately, I wasn't being graded, so.
It's not?
Not yet.
Wait, I have a turquoise pen.
I have the correct color
But
pen.
again, the recommendations that I made were based on things that we heard from the different neighborhood committees. So we took those and then I also looked at some other data from other cities and things like that. I would say, there were 3 questions that kind of came to mind that us as a committee can wrestle with a little bit. And this may be something for Public Works too. You know, when Bill was still here, I asked him, how were the thresholds established for speeding and volume of traffic? And he said, well, you know, I don't really remember, I don't know, and that's okay. And so, I don't know, Mike, do you know the answer to that? I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
No,
but
that's
that's
okay.
what Bill said.
No, that's okay. No, when the original one was written, they had a handful of people involved in writing it. One of them was Lori Christopher. I just kind of went back to my notes here because I was seeing who all was on it. And there was a handful of people from the Keizer Planning Commission, Keizer Traffic Safety Commission, and then Keizer staff members. And at that time, it was Rob Kissler, the head of Public Works, and it was also Richard Woke, which is a traffic engineer for City of Salem. So they used his information, and so I was not there, but I will say that that information and the speeds and the percentages came from a lot from that traffic engineer's experience and knowledge of road systems.
Good, and that's the kind of thing, that was one of the big questions, and then, you know, maybe how it compares to other cities. And we've talked about this a couple times. Funding is an ongoing issue, and that's something to wrestle with, but as we engage in changes or improvements or things that we see that need to be done, is there a way for us to insert ourselves into the budget discussion on an annual basis and say, look, you know, there's going to be things that come up, not to take away from the Public Works budget, but, you know, we need a stop sign or we need, you know, one thing or another. I mean, we've been at this for a little while, and what I've heard a couple times is there's no money, and I respect that. I don't want to create another fund, but as things come up that have to be dealt with, I think I've heard you, Mr. Chairman, say a couple times, you know, can we pay for that? And the answer's been no.
Yeah.
And so I guess what I'm saying is I realize funding is an issue and I know money's tight, but how do we play a part in that?
And that's why we've invited Ms. Blaylock.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
That's
you're
what
the
I ju-
answer. She's the answer. Okay.
yeah,
Well,
that's what I heard too.
yeah.
So I really, you know, I meant to get this out to Dawn to get to all of you on time. I'm happy to hand it out, but remember, that's just recommendations. And so if you, Mr. Chairman, if you don't like something in there, it won't hurt my feelings because, again, it's not being graded, so.
Well, no, I think,
You said there were primarily 3 recommendations?
There's more than that, but
Okay.
there was 3 questions that I had.
Oh,
You've got one. Okay. Mike, did you get one too? Dawn.
Matt, if what I've been reading is accurate, I don't think you need to worry about the grade, given grade inflation that has happened.
well, and I was just.
I just want to,
There's some formatting issues, okay, so. Matt, based on what, Mike has just said, the original plan was written well over 35 years ago. And there were no neighborhood associations. It was just
25.
whoever came in to complain to traffic safety, here's some paperwork to do. So I think all of us agree, and even city council, we need to move. And I do want to give a lot of credit to Tammy Salzavar, who helped write all this to get the start that we're.
Absolutely, and I agree. There are, and you'll see in there's some good parts about the plan that I think we should absolutely keep. I mean, we can't address every issue and somebody wants a speed bump in their cul-de-sac or whatever, you know, I mean, there's a reason there's a process, and there's also a reason why we want them to talk to their neighborhood committee first. Because, you know, if I live in a certain neighborhood, it ought to be addressed by that neighborhood committee and they agree, yep, it's an issue. They bring it to us, that's the next step. And so, you know, the question becomes, are there too many steps, or how do we expedite the steps? So that's part of it. But, you know, again, take it for what it's worth. You know, I'm happy to revise it if it'll improve my grade.
No, I think this is good, and I think partly because, one, it focuses us, and second, it prevents redundancy, because we may have multiple ideas already, and we would want to bring it up, but you've put it in a nice, tidy package.
Happy to help,
Yeah.
so, all right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Put an A on your paper.
Thank you, Mike, for your help.
We didn't need such thick paper, though.
Yeah, I know, you,
It's nice paper.
It's expensive.
it's like a tree per package.
I think a question for the committee in anticipation of the work session is, do you want this in the work session packet?
I would say yes, yeah.
Pardon?
How many people, just offhand, how many people do you think this represents?
Well, I went to all the neighborhood committees.
100?
Well, are you
the
saying,
committees speak for the neighborhood.
right,
Okay, so how many people do you think this speaks for?
I-
No, I think that's a legitimate question.
well,
Take a guess. I'm,
Well,
what do you think?
I can speak for two.
Yeah, 2 people?
No, two neighborhood
Oh,
associations. West Keizer, I know, did a lot of solicitation, so they probably had input from, maybe not at the meeting, but over, maybe about 100 people over time.
okay, how many neighborhood associations were there?
And five.
Okay, 500 people maybe?
Yeah. Give or
That's
take.
actually a lot.
Yeah, give or take,
I
probably.
mean, people
say
who
that's
actually
fair.
And
said something. Yeah.
And in the writing of the original Northwest Keizer Neighborhood Association, got a lot of input from a lot of different other people too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were like 10, 12 around the table at the president's house for the West Keizer Neighborhood Association meeting.
And that was just a
In
board
terms of the
meeting.
questions, whether this should be in the packet, I just got this and have no idea whether, what I would say is that I think the existing neighborhood traffic management program has been very good about enabling citizens to come forward with concerns, have identified things. It has not been helpful in terms of finding solutions.
action.
And there are parts of it which to me don't make any sense at all. The number scoring, that makes sense maybe if you're in a SCATS kind of process and you have different jurisdictions and everybody is being scored on numbers. In this case, it's a question of where does it fit in the priority for funding in public works or whatever. The one case where action happened because of this, and it's something that's well known in the neighborhood associations, is a concern was brought forth. There was, I don't remember if there was a specific recommendation from here. The Public Works was against it. And the head of the neighborhood association went to the city council, and the city council approved a stop sign to deal with the issue. And so the other neighborhood associations I know after that said, why why do we come to the traffic, the multimodal safety committee? We should just go directly to the council. So anyway, that was just one place. It was the stop sign on what is it, Mandarin? The concern was speeding on,
Where was it? Yeah, I remember them putting it in.
Are you talking about trail?
My trail?
no, it wasn't
No,
trail.
Mandarin.
It was Mandarin.
Mandarin or
Mandarin?
Mandarin.
Mandarin.
We in fact made a recommendation.
We have stop signs there, but we haven't.
My understanding was that one was put in based
Yeah, I'm
on,
trying to remember where it was, but
I
the
thought that
council
was
did
on Farmland.
sign off on putting a stop sign there and directed staff to do that.
anyway, it just, again, I think that it works well, but it doesn't reflect how we in Keizer work for making decisions after that.
Can I ask Counselor Starr, when you were asking your question, were you specifically asking this document in the packet? Okay, so I guess I will leave that up to Matt to see if he's comfortable
I'd
with
like
that.
to clean it up a little bit and format it a little better and yeah, I'm happy to add it, Mr. Chairman, if you want it.
I'm fine with that, with the understanding that there may be things that you didn't cover in here that we would still bring up.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet.
Since we're on this issue, I don't even know where this fits in, but after I read the traffic management problem, I found what I consider, probably should preempt it. I'm a mathematician, that's my degrees, statistician, research, and I taught school. So when I'm saying that the statistics they're using in a lot of this stuff from ODOT and in this traffic management program don't make sense for the people involved. I can't come up with a good reason why you would ever consider the 75th or the 60th percentile for almost anything. It's like cost of living increases, which aren't real. I mean, they're all sorts of mathematical problems. What I found is, for example, the number of cars per day. Nobody cares about the cars from 9 o'clock at night till 6 in the morning. So you don't get to use that time, or whoever drove by at that time. All we're concerned about are the cars driving when people are around. And so the cars per day in front of the grade school, all we're concerned about is when they come and when they go. And if that's a problem during that 2-hour block, that's the problem, not the problem for the 24. There's no problem on Noren over a 24-hour period of time. There is a problem on Noren from about 7:30 to 9 every day. You got people speeding, you got people driving, there's no sidewalk on the west side, all sorts of issues. So it's a narrow piece so that in the traffic, the neighborhood thing we're looking at, we need to revamp that whole section on when is this important, how many cars per day, and at what time. And the same thing's true on the speed. I think people will find that the speed limit from 4 to 6 is way lower in a lot of these neighborhoods than it is at other times of the day, because there's too many cars on the road for you to speed conveniently. I mean, it's hard to speed when there's 100 parents dropping off their kids at Kennedy. Okay, so those issues need to be taken and fixed. And so you forget the percentile, look at the average, look at the mean average. Don't look at the median, just average it out like the old grade school math. And look at that number in a smaller chunk of time. And so the statistics need to be reworked. Then you can talk about setting criteria.
Well, and I think
But
I think that's where we're bringing suggestions and ideas to the work session.
Okay.
But the hammering out of those will be on us.
I even wrote it out, but I can't read my handwriting.
I can't help you with that. Okay, well, and the last thing we had were traffic calming procedures and designs and traffic safety, education and outreach. You know, it's kind of like a spaghetti bowl here. There's things that kind of all intermesh So we'll probably talk about these, at least in the context of something else, so, are we good with what we have written here? Okay. Seeing no, yes?
Number 3, that second bullet point, I don't know if committees do joint work sessions together, but if we bring any kind of education or outreach, possibly involving the Community Diversity Engagement Committee in on that, since they're already doing outreach work as well.
Do we ever do that?
I don't want to bring them, like, I'm not suggesting we bring them to our work session, but,
Like, may I?
Sorry.
No, may I? I think you bring up a good point, Mr. Walsh. I think that, if this committee comes up with ideas or things that, topics that they want to see, maybe in partnership with, Officer Powell and the traffic team, about, I heard somebody say walking on, pedestrians walking on the right side of the road facing oncoming traffic or something, and I'm using that as an example. I think that that's definitely something that you could take and have somebody from this committee report to and ask to be on the agenda at the Community Diversity Engagement Committee. I happen to be the liaison to that committee as well. So would be happy to carry that message in partnership with somebody from this committee as well, and putting that on the agenda. I think that's probably the best route is this committee comes up with it and then takes it to the CDEC.
So would it be that we're just passing the baton to them, or
I think, no, you go and ask them, to work with them,
okay, so we can have a joint, or like a subgroup that overlaps committees?
I think you want to be careful, it's a public meeting, right? So you want to be careful about what, forming any subgroups that are working together. But I think if you go and have the conversation with the committee and it's on the agenda, I think that, that's an option. I think you could request to do a joint meeting, or request CDC to do a joint work session, but I would with this committee, but I would make sure you have enough
Right.
for a meeting, right? It's not just like that topic that I used as an example,
sure.
but.
Okay, well,
thank you.
yeah, thank you. Hirsch?
I've been watching some videos on Facebook on traffic safety, especially bike safety for the month of May that has been being put on by Travis Gordon. They're wonderful and they're entertaining, but they're correct
And
too.
educational,
They're
yeah.
correct. And to me, that's something that somehow we have to tap into, but I don't know how to do it. But he is a resource within our community that's doing some of these educational portions. And, this committee has tried to partner with McNary High School to do some videos, and it was almost impossible because of changes in teachers, subject matter, etc. So, and now with the change with the new principal coming in, the directions may change because Scott's retiring. So I just see this one resource. I don't know. I've been sharing it as much as possible on my Facebook, so.
Okay. All right, shall we move along?
I think, Chair de Blasi, Ms. Wilson, point of clarification, do you want them to do a motion?
I think it would be a good idea, or just, at least a consensus with what you discussed tonight, you want to have put on the agenda for the work session.
Okay, what is, consensus is just any in favor or any against?
Is anybody
Yeah.
interested?
Yeah,
I move that.
okay.
And I second what.
Yeah,
Okay,
So is any against the topics as we've discussed tonight?
Sounds good.
Okay. Seeing as everyone's in support of it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so we have I don't know if, seems like we kind of talked a little bit about the neighborhood traffic management feedback from West Keizer. Did you want to still bring it up?
No, Matt did a wonderful job, gathering all the data and getting it consolidated into something very, very, readable.
Okay.
Very academic, I thought.
And it's almost like he's going to school.
Yeah.
Well, at least going to good school.
Okay, well, then let's move on to committee member input. David, we can start with you.
We have enough helmets for the next event, which is June 4th at
Weddle Elementary.
Well Elementary. What's the title of the event, Hirsch?
It's their safety fair.
Safety fair, and it's after school's out,
Yeah, it's at 5:30.
5:30.
We'll be setting up about 3:30, 4 o'clock.
And they want us to give away some helmets, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
The Southeast Neighborhood Association did a transfer of some money for some helmets, and then we have some helmets. It is a Title I school. Safe Routes to School will be there. Northwest Hub will be there. So there'll be some other community resources there. And Southeast Keizer Neighborhood Association will also help us with the skills route. So.
Don't say too much, you're gonna.
I know it, I'll have everything done. Michael?
No, I just think city staff on, what day was that we did the Saturday for the parade, did a wonderful job, shutting down certain access points to River Road to make sure no vehicles could make it on there and, kept both the parade, participants and the, observers safe, so.
Trevor.
I wanted to ask Mike Griffin about, I think it was a few months ago, we had talked about the city sweepers and the new contract we had with this new company. Mike, and I guess my question is there any concern with how they are doing their job within the city of Keizer?
Yeah, they're under a one-year contract. We sent out requests for proposals. Those will due back here very shortly. We'll be evaluating them and then choosing our path forward, I will say. So that's coming up quickly.
Because I know at the time that we had talked about it, you had brought up the point that this new contract, the new sweepers were smaller than previous sweepers.
Correct.
And I guess a concern of mine is I've noticed in my area that I live on the west side of River Road, and I've noticed up and down the streets on the west side multiple times that they have come through and swept the streets, and the latest has been on Ranbren that they pushed crushed rock into the center of the streets, and I've
Left it there.
and left it there. And I'm just saying that as a concern to kind of get that out there to maybe be able to make it more aware of.
We're very aware, and we get all of those, and I will end up having communication with the sweeper gentleman who is out, and I'll let him know where that complaint was and to go back and take care of it. So we're working on it. It's an ongoing deal, but we're doing the best we can, and we're going to move forward and go from there.
Because my concern is not just in the area that I've been seeing, but up and down River Road too. I've noticed a lot more crushed rock, and I get it that we have the traffic from the trucks, the construction truck going up and down the major Tamawa and Lock Haven. But I just noticed that within intersections that the rock is in areas that potential bikes and scooters and all that are, it's just building up more and more. And it's like, my concern is that a bicyclist scooter or whatever is gonna go around that and start entering traffic to, just to miss all this crushed rock everywhere. But thank you. And also another thing I've been noticing is the vegetation up and down Chamawa, growing over signage, specifically over speed signs. And I've noticed that, well, because I work at the Grange there on Chamawa.
Yeah.
And I've personally cut back vegetation so the 35-mile-an-hour speed is visible. I try to cut back as far as I can for visibility because of the traffic from the high school. But also I've noticed over here on the on-ramp to I-5 going south, there's a 45-mile-an-hour sign that's hit. I don't know if that's city, state, whatever that is, but it's.
That one's out of our jurisdiction,
Yeah.
but the ones you're mentioning around Keizer, anytime you see something, you can just send me an email or report it. And we're not everywhere at every
Yeah.
street. We're on a lot of streets, but if we don't know about it, we don't know, and then
Okay.
we'll take care of it. So yeah, you can just send them
Okay,
on.
thank you.
Yeah.
I don't have anything. Hirsch?
I'm gonna dominate the whole thing here, I'm sorry. David already mentioned the June 4th at Weddle. Tomorrow is at, although not in Keizer, is Bike Palooza at Harrod Elementary in West Salem. We'll be there. And then June 17th, Public Works Day, we'll have a booth and helmets and safety information. Also related to the helmet program, I would like to get approval from this committee to go ahead and pursue and receive monies from the Keizer Rotary.
Now, do you want
Can
these separate motions?
I think so.
Can I clarify that? It's for this committee to send a recommendation to council to approve the
Well,
application.
We get an approval here and then David will bring it to council.
I think I'm clarifying your motion would be this committee
Recommending,
that it goes to council
yeah.
for approval.
Yes.
An application to the grant, for the grant funds.
Can that be by
Say
consensus?
that again.
I would do it in a motion.
I'd like to request that the committee approve going to council to request funding from Keizer Rotary for the Keizer helmet program. And
Is there a specific dollar amount that you're requesting?
I've requested $500, but Rotary, I don't know,
You could say for up to $500.
up to
Can we just leave it blank? Wonder if it's like the other day, when somebody comes up and says, oh, well, you only wanted 200, well, here's the 1,000.
The application's already been prepared,
and it was for 500.
and it was for 500.
Okay, and the city council made that application?
The application was written by somebody from the Rotary Board and
the city.
submitted to the Rotary Foundation under the city of Keizer's name, but it did not get approval from the council to be submitted. So there was a request for funding under the city's name that didn't have the appropriate approvals. That's the reason we're doing a little cleanup here tonight.
Yeah. So I have this motion.
So,
Can you repeat the motion now? I'll second it if I think.
I'd like the approval of the committee to send a recommendation to the city council for us to proceed with the request grant for Keizer Rotary for $500
For helmets.
for the Keizer helmet program, which would help.
So proceed with accepting the donation from Keizer Rotary
I'll
for bike helmets. Okay.
Can you read that motion back to me? Adam?
I'll do my best. And who seconded it? Trevor? Did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, Mike did.
Michael. Okay, Mr. Sangster moved to approve the committee to send a recommendation to the city council to proceed with the requested grant for $500 for the Keizer helmet program.
Do we have to, did you say Keizer Rotary? Do we have to say that in there?
Yeah, and that's the
Yeah, it's in
entity is
there.
Keizer Rotary.
Okay, so we have a motion.
Yeah,
And we have a
he's the one,
second.
and he seconded it.
All in favor of the motion?
Chair de Blasi, before you do that, I think Mr. Philbrick had a question.
Oh,
Oh,
It was already answered.
it was answered. Okay, great,
well,
sorry.
any discussion on that motion? Okay, so all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions or against? Seeing none, that passes. Okay,
Number one,
That's-
I have a second
Yeah.
one, on the same line is at the Monster Cookie, David and I and several other people were there, and we were approached by the Salem Bicycle Club for a donation of up to $500 through their grant programs. Do the same thing. So I'd like to request approval by this committee to recommend to city council to accept the grant proposal from the Salem Bicycle Club for up to $500 for the Keizer helmet program. With these two grants and what we have, we can clearly serve the kids through this year.
okay, do we have a motion?
A second.
That-
Do we have a second? Trevor? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Seeing none, it passes.
Thank you, and who did the second?
Trevor, yeah.
And David, could you, since you're on June 1st, could you take that to the city council? And you'll know about it too, so.
So they get the minutes before that, right? Also, I mean, I'll be there to do it,
You'll bring it up.
right?
Yeah.
And that way.
Never know, I might trip and fall down between now and then.
And then we come back to Mike and when we get the money and order the helmets and through Helmets Are Us. And we'll get them pretty quickly.
And they came
I-
in a week, you know?
Give or take. Now, my, working with the Harrod Bike Palooza, I found out that Salem Health is kind of backed out of the helmet program. The lady, Melissa, that was trauma nurse, moved on to a different program. So, the new person said, we can't do that. So we're Safe Routes to School and us are the only ones with ongoing helmets for kids in our Salem Keizer area. So, thank you very much, gentlemen.
Councilor Starr.
Thank you, Chair de Blasi. Can we make sure that we get the appropriate documentation to put in the council packet for those grant requests? I'm sure there will be there would be an ask to see that. And so for I think they have, the one for the Keizer Rotary is already done and completed. But the one for the Salem Bicycle Club, I don't know if there's like an application that needs to be filled out, if there's a letter of request that you would write. Like, if you can find that out, I think that would be super helpful.
The president said they were just going to do it, but.
Is it a grant then or a donation?
Their board has to make that decision. I don't know.
So
There
we
is
might
a
just-
grant form, there is a grant form with the Salem Bike Club, as David and I well know.
So let's do that, do a draft of that grant form or the application and make sure, I think, is it Tuesday then would be our agenda meeting, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Tim said I didn't have to do one, but
who did?
president of the Salem Bike Club.
Oh, but for us, I think the council will want to see something in the
makes perfect
packet,
sense to
so.
me.
Helps with the paper trail.
David?
I think Tim may not have indicated it, but I think you do need to, it's on the website
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's
I
a
know
single
exactly
page
where it
thing.
is. I've
yeah.
done them hundreds of times.
Yeah, and it would be a good idea that would motivate it because the bike club board would need to approve it. So that would, once submitted, they would take it up at the very next meeting, and I don't expect any problem at all, but it would be good to have that
Well,
would
the city needs
formalize.
it, and the form is easy. I've filled it out before for other things.
So I think if get it in by the end of day Tuesday, so if there's any questions, they have Wednesday to follow up with you, and then, because the packet's published on Wednesday afternoon. Does that work?
I'm thinking of my schedule. I think I probably can get it done on Sunday.
And then just get it sent in, perfect.
Send it to Dawn,
Melissa?
Melissa, yeah.
Melissa, okay.
Counselor Starr, could you explain, is this because it's a grant, or would any donation now have to go through this process?
Well, there's a policy that the council has to approve seeking grants. And so, because it's encumbering the city to something. And so that's the reason that it has to go before. But there's also, on the agenda is an agenda item about the process for this. Because I think the intent of that policy was for like, I'll just use the grant for, was it body cameras, I think, for the police department, right? That had to come to us because it was encumbering the city. And I think that was the issue here, is that grant application was written under, the applicant was City of Keizer. And so it just we kind of skipped over a step, and we got to follow that policy.
The last time we had an ODOT grant and a Safe Route to School grant, we went through the city council, so I remember that. But that was a long time ago.
Right. Yep.
Well, just to me, I mean, if it's going in on behalf of the city, it makes total sense that it needs to go through the city council. I mean,
Well, especially since
they're
the
really,
city's taking care of the money.
Yeah, and that process that, or the policy on the agenda item is for donations and grants, and it'll be kind of an all-inclusive, so that's coming.
Okay, thank you. David, do you have anything?
the only quick.
Were you done, Hirsch?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you, everybody.
The only thing I have is just a quick, the Monster Cookie happened at the end of April, and Hirsch knows because he has a long history of recommending that day as having good weather, and we had great weather, which made the event just very successful, and had over 750 riders, which it also is the major fundraiser, which helps the Salem Bicycle Club with both its yearly activities as well as supporting events like the helmet program in the community. So it was very successful on that level too. And I really want to thank Keizer. As far as I could tell, the streets were in great shape, and we had no problems that I know of.
Just David fell.
It was an interesting experience.
Okay. And that's all I have.
Matt, do you have anything?
No, I don't really have anything. I'll clean this up a little bit before I get it to Dawn. You're obviously not here on Monday, but I'll send it to you. And if you have any questions or there's something else that needs done, let me know. Mr. Chairman, if you see something in there that you want changed or whatever, please let me know, but I'll get it to you by Monday.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on. Staff report. I'm assuming still you, Mike, doing this? Or?
Thank you, Chair DeBosse. Right now, our stormwater crew has begun our annual catch basin inspections where the guys go out with the tablet and basically measure the amount of debris in the catch basins. And if it is above a certain threshold, then we put it on the list to go follow up and go back and clean them. So we do that yearly, and we've done it for quite a long time now. So it really, Keizer really benefits because it keeps our system clean, and it's a good thing. So second one on the list, ADA ramp work. Hirsch had brought up a couple months ago, 3 months ago, that 15th between Willow Lake and Shamawa North at Garwood didn't have ADA ramps. So we put money yearly in the budget to update a couple ADA ramps in neighborhoods, and that was a perfect spot. And it was pretty neat that he had brought that up. And we put it out to bid and hired a contractor, and they finished up last week. So that's a pretty good deal. It didn't have ADA
Neighborhood
ramps.
Association brought it up. I just was the spokesperson.
There you go. So, and it never had 80 ramps, so it's pretty good because there's only sidewalk on one side of that street. So now it connects that to Shamawa North. And the last one I have is Verda Lane. Northeast, contractor Civil West has begun that project. Public Works did a lot of work beforehand, moving services and hydrants and different things, preparing for the contractor to come in and start their work. And right now, the proposed project completion date is late October, last I heard. So that's the 3 updates I have on that. So.
I don't know, I asked Dawn to ask if you could bring that information about the blinking light thing.
Actually, yeah, I did find some information on that, Mr. Jabasi. And in 2020, City Council authorized Bill Lawyer to apply for the ARTS grant, which is the All Roads Transportation through ODOT, for new signal heads, programming, and the installation of protective, permissive left turns. And so he applied for that grant, and that grant was approved, and we have, it's a city match of 5%, and we haven't, it's in there, but it's in the queue, and it's stemmed for 28, 29 estimated start date, so I'm not sure, but we'll be seeing updates with the signals along River Road. They talk to each other right now. We've done some improvements on the signal cabinets, kind of a separate project. But the big thing is those left turn arrows. So when you come up, there's a green ball right now that says yield to oncoming traffic. That green ball will go away. There'll be new signal heads there. And so it'll be a green arrow when it's time to go. And then it'll be a flashing yellow when the other traffic is coming this way. So you treat it like a, when it's safe turn. So, and those are coming. I think there's 9 of them. Not every intersection on River Road, but the majority of them. I think there's 2 intersections that aren't, so.
So you said we put the grant in application in 2020, and we just got the money?
We haven't gotten anything. Basically, it was something that Bill had just learned about and worked with traffic engineers with DKS, and they did some studies and decided River Road was a great place to do this. And then Bill and his staff report went to council and asked if, for was a recommendation that he could fill out, to apply for the grant. Thank you. And, and then it's just it hasn't moved. It's just been sitting and not doing much. And then some steam has just moved forward where some agreements were signed, and it's got a little bit of traction, but it's still a little bit out.
So 8 years though.
Yeah, that's all we've got.
Am I correct that would be signalizing it similar to what currently exists at like River and Wheatland?
Yes, or Lock Haven and 14th, or Lock Haven and McLeod.
Yeah.
Same. So, yeah.
May I add something to that?
Sure.
In the interest of Mr. Philbrick's comment on doing more for pedestrians in the community and that Keizer, I just want to make a point that this project, those lights are also going to have the capability to interact with the pedestrian crossings. So it's not just a vehicular safety, it will also reduce pedestrian vehicle conflicts. So it does have that as well. And I just...
Thank you.
Just to let you know, that is on the radar, and we are trying to wrap all of that in together on these projects.
So
Does that mean pedestrian activated?
So when you go up to hit the button,
It has
the
the button?
light will be
Okay.
communicating with that so that pedestrians are also protected with that left.
It does have a
So
button.
it'll change that left to a red, or,
So if there's a pedestrian, yes, it will,
Okay.
it will interact to say, okay, well, it's not gonna tell a pedestrian to go because the light is green, or,
okay.
so it has that smart technology to be able to interact. So it will be protecting the pedestrians at the intersection as well as the vehicles.
So will it only tell a pedestrian not to go, but it won't turn the blinker red, or the blinking yellow red? Or is it both?
They will just interact so that when a pedestrian is at the intersection, it will adjust the light accordingly so that
Okay.
They can
it's
cross
not
without
giving,
getting run over.
it's not separate.
Yeah.
They'll be interacting.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Officer Powell. You're all done, Mike? Yeah, Officer.
So for traffic, is Officer Miranda and I have kind of been doing double duty for the last month and a half, almost 2 months, as field training officers for patrol staff. So it kind of pulls us away from our primary function of traffic. That is now completed. At least one of the new recruits is going to be, I think he's solo. He's probably working tonight, actually.
Which end of town? I want to know.
What's that?
Which end of town?
Yeah, all of it. So that'll help us as far as traffic. I'm doing a little bit of catch up between all of that stuff, plus my calls, plus the parade. Takes a lot of time to do that. And then the only other thing is I would make a request, that for when people have a specific instance, such as the vehicle that went by passing on Chemawa, the first response should be to call the police, not to email a council member or a committee member to then email Dawn, who then emails me, and then now I'm four hours behind the times and I can't do anything. It doesn't do any good. Where if it would have literally been me as the first call going to a dead end street, we probably could have located it. So I just want to reiterate that the first call should be to the police.
Yeah, when they shared that video, they didn't say it was like right away, and so I was just operating under the assumption that, oh, they saw it this morning, they posted it hours later.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, that's all you got?
Yep.
Counselor Starr?
I was going to talk about the grant process, but we've already done that. Beat that dead horse. But the only other thing is the resurfacing. So if you wanted to talk about that, I just know that we approved the contract for that. But I thought this committee might also be interested in some of what you shared, Ms. Blaylock, about how you determine which ones get resurfaced, because I thought that was fascinating, so. But I'm nerdy like that.
I brought this because this was in the council packet. So, Monday, the council approved the awarding of the resurfacing contract. The project is 1.42 miles of sections, including Dearborn, where we had done the water line project. So that will get, now that that's finished, that piece will be, that section of roadway will be resurfaced. And then around town, I don't know if you can see this very well, but we have a section on Wayne Drive, North Wind Court, North, Meadow Glen Street, Northeast, Harmony, Shepherd Court, Fenwick, and Rivercrest Drive. And so these were selected using the PCI, which is the Pavement Condition Index. Mike, step in if I speak, if I'm incorrect, but this comes, I think we get the data from the county who does that every year, every 5 years, right, Mike?
Kind of, the county used to do it for us every 5 years, and this is the first year we reached out and they said no. So we went elsewhere.
Oh, okay, okay.
Like you got it.
But what they do is they drive the roads, they do a windshield survey and measure. There are AI tools now that will do that, but it's a spendier process. But nonetheless, they provide they assess the roadways, assign a condition rating that's standardized, and we use that so we input that data into Street Saver package that we got from the company, and that really is a map showing what the street conditions are, and so we can use that to determine what roads are in the worst shape and prioritize which projects we choose, so we can put the dollars at the most in the best place possible. We also have been talking about a pavement preservation aspect and building that in to extend the life of the roads. So using that data to make these decisions is really focusing our dollars to the best we can do. So, right.
Mr. Griffin and Ms. Blaylock, you do a portion of the road surfacing every year in every budget project or every budget cycle, correct? you'd you budget in for some resurfacing.
Yeah, we try to do that every
Yep.
year.
Maybe resurfacing probably wouldn't trigger this, but I've suggested before that when you are prioritizing things that are more involved and you're actually breaking asphalt, to see about adding, if there's any pedestrian safety or bike safety measure that can be implemented. So while something's being torn up, when it's put back together, it actually then has that added safety feature in
This
it.
is primarily resurfacing, correct?
Right.
Correct.
I think for resurfacing, probably not the case, but
So like on a reconstruction, the Vert project is an example of like a reconstruction project where, yeah, we are adding bike lanes and
Yeah.
separated sidewalks.
right, I'm thinking like.
To improve that as we go, but this would just be resurfacing, which does now most often include curb ramp upgrades as well.
So, yeah.
Which is a lot.
Right,
A lot of money.
a lot of money, you're right,
Yeah,
right,
it's a lot.
right.
If we spent the same amount every year, over the last 10 years, the amount of the linear footage of roadway gets less because of the curb upgrades that are required.
So you're resurfacing any roads that don't have sidewalks?
We do, in this one,
This one, yeah, Harmony.
Harmony.
It's got bike lane, but no sidewalks. And the year before, we did a project where we looked into a lot of areas around Kennedy and whatnot, and not Kennedy just in general, but looked for areas, and I put a map together and went through. And what we found about that is the money went farther. However, even with those, there were obligations that we had to make things, that increased the cost for different things. You'd have to put a ramp, say, on the other side of the street because you did this, or things that, frankly, I just didn't really think about, is because of, because it wasn't there before, but now with the changes, it was a learning curve for myself but it worked out, and we'll go back to doing that. Just this year, we had some different streets that needed it, and as Carrie said, next year, we're gonna change things up and do things a little different, with slurring some streets and crack sealing to help preserve our streets longer, so.
Yeah, I'm just, like, if you're breaking something up, but having to put it back together, it just seems like synchronizing something else might, instead of having to pay something twice, you're doing it all at once. And I understand the whole thing of, $1 is not going as far as it used to, but, and I'm not saying everyone you have to do it either.
well, like with the resurfacing, we're usually just milling it down. We're not really replacing the base or
Right.
doing any kind of, in some cases, if you were to add bike lane or if you were to add stuff, you would also maybe need to get right of way or to expand. So again, this is just taking worn pavement and mill it down and then do an overlay.
It's the maintenance,
Right.
not new construction.
But I can tell you that we do look at that. I mean, if that street has the right of way, or if it has something and we're able to include that definitely as it's going through AKS or engineers, it's like, it's something that is a known item. We've talked about it here, whatever it is. And then, yeah, we definitely might look into that.
That's good to hear.
As long as you don't use chip seal.
Chip seal.
I'm going to use chip seal.
Could you, I don't know which one of you would know the answer, but we're talking about all these trucks coming by now with all the gravel and all that, and lots of trucks. Do they pay extra tonnage fee or something like that
For tearing up the roads.
for putting more pressure on the roads?
Not that, I don't know. I mean, they may pay that through a state licensing or registration fee, but that's not a direct to us. Our funding comes from the gas tax, not that aspect. So I'm sure they are, but it
Is
is
the
not.
gas tax a percentage of the cost of gas per gallon?
No, it's a flat fee.
It's just a flat fee, flat
I
amount.
believe.
So we're not like getting 4% or something.
No.
We're ahead of the ball.
Counselor Starr, did you have any more? Okay. All right, so, last thing, David, you'll be, assuming you don't get in
Another accident?
you'll make
Right,
it,
okay.
you'll make it to, January 1st. at 6 PM.
June 1st.
I'm
June
sorry.
1st, yeah,
Well, you could do January 1st.
I can do that.
The June 1st, yeah. All right, well, thank you, and we are adjourned.